Happy New Year! It's January 5th, 2024. I'm so excited to be back. I have a big show for you today, and I'm going to kind of tell you what we're going to go over so that you can think of your questions ahead of time. But we're going to do a Petit Four foundation paper tutorial with the pineapple paper, and I think this one's going to be really good because it's going to be a little bit more detailed and it's a little bit different, the technique. I mean, it's the same technique, but it uses rectangles instead of triangles cut on the diagonal, which will kind of help you know the difference between bias and not bias. We're going to show you the Made with Love free pattern for 2024, which is every year we give you a free Valentine pattern. We're going to introduce Stronger Together for 2024. We're going to show the Kona color of the year for 2024. I'm going to tell you the January 2024 specials, and I have a ton of stuff to show you for what's new because I haven't been here for a couple of weeks. And then just so you guys know, my sew along progress will be for this month, January 26th. Now, of course, you can always go to Instagram and Facebook and see my blogs before then, but just so you know, next week we're going to be doing a tutorial for paper heart. So I want to show you real quick what you need for that if you have forgotten. So next Friday, I'm going to do a paper hearts tutorial, and I've made all my blocks already just to kind of show you. Really fun, and I have a lot of tips that I wrote out to show you, and it's really fun because these don't have to line up, and you'll see in some of my blocks they will, some of the blocks they won't. It uses Lori's heart quilt paper, the 10-inch, and it also uses her Square It Up Cute Cuts Trim It ruler, 7 inches. So that's what you'll need, and you'll need a 10-inch stacker of the bee hearts if that's what you're going to use. And you can find all the fabric requirements on the free pattern, which you can download at Fat Quarter Shop or Riley Blake. It's a free pattern. But you do need the paper to make it. And I have a lot of tips, so that's going to be really fun. It's going to be a quilt along and really fun. I just really had a lot of fun making this. And usually when I do sew alongs, you know, I'll do a little bit here and there. I was so addicted to doing these. I made all of them in one day. So fun. So that's really fun if you haven't tried that. I do want to show you, this is so exciting. So we have worked on this for months and months and months, and I want to say thank you to a customer. So a couple months ago, I got a gift from a customer, and it was around Easter, and it was an Easter cup that is plaid, and it kind of looked like a quilt. So she said that inspired her to send it to me. And I love Yetis, but when I got the Swig, I realized that brand, it stays colder longer. So this is our prototype of our brand new limited edition Fat Quarter Shop 40-ounce quilty mug. It is not going to be in stock until April, but we're going to do limited edition. And so we're going to do a one-time run. I don't know if it's going to sell out beforehand or not. I have no idea. But it keeps your drink cold 24 hours. And if you have a hot drink, it will keep it hot for 9 hours. And I love the design. It's, you can really see the texture. The white really lifts off, if that makes sense. And it does come with the lid and the straw, which of course I love. And it's similar, but it's much bigger than the other one. The other one I think was 26 ounces. So this one's 40. And super excited that we're going to offer this. But this is like a straw. It's a little bit different than the Yeti straws because it's plasticky and it's not as textured. And what I like about it is my Yeti ones, you can see stains, and on this one you can't. But I love it. It's got a textured print of a lot of our favorite quilt designs. You'll notice this is part of, we took Threadology, which was a free pattern from years ago, and Brittany and Jocelyn kind of moved it all around, and it's really fun. And it does say Fat Quarter Shop Swig on one of the sides. So you can pre-order that now. Now, like I said, we've never really done something like this because it's kind of a higher price point. So I don't know how it's going to do. I don't know if it's going to sell out. I have no idea. I also wanted to let you know the Cupid Box launched this week, and it has not sold out yet, but roses are red, violets are blue. Fat Quarter Shop's 2024 Cupid Box Mystery Box is a quilty hug from us to you. So this has Valentine themed fabrics, notions, a quilt pattern, and some exclusive items that can only be found in this box. The box retails for over $60, so you'll get a $24 in savings. You'll reserve today. This will be shipping towards the end of February, the end of January. And I do want to give you a little hint that the coupon on the back of this is worth just the price of the box. Really good coupon this time. So sometimes these sell out before I can even show them to you. So we released this week. We still have some. We don't have that many left, I will tell you that. Okay, so let's start the Petit Four quilt along, and just pop your questions in and I will answer them throughout. So the Petit Four started in October of 2023, and we are gonna sew this all the way through April 2024. And it's a foundation paper pieced quilt. It's a free quilt layout. You do need the foundation paper pad set. And we have made 4-inch log cabin blocks, 4-inch economy blocks, and 4-inch courthouse step blocks. And this uses the Blueberry Delight collection by Ann Sutton, which I absolutely love. I'm hoping she does like a red collection. And some blocks you make more, some blocks you make less. You print this out from our website or the Jolly Jabber blog, and you follow along. And what I kind of wanted to show you is when you're making log cabin or courthouse step, you know, you're just working with squares, rectangles. It's very easy. You're just sewing, but you're sewing straight. On here, you use squares you cut on the bias. So all of these seams are bias. So you have to be kind of careful. This one, the pineapple, you have rectangles that go on the bias, and that really makes this more secure, because if you try to do a bunch of squares on the diagonal on this, I think it would be tough. So we wrote this where that's how the rectangles are, and this one has a lot more pieces, but you're going to get really good results. Now I would say pineapple blocks are really hard to do without paper or without a Creative Grids ruler. So I personally wouldn't attempt them without the paper or a ruler where you trim down, because you're adding so much on the, even though this is cut on the straight, you are adding to the bias of a square. And so everything, I feel like anytime you're working with something that you're adding so much to, it always kind of shrivels. So if you want to catch up on all our block tutorials for Petit Four, we have a playlist on this YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and give me a like. And today we're making 8 pineapple blocks. So what I wanted to show you was, I took this printout, which you can find on our blog. I printed it on paper as big as I could. And these are your economy blocks that are kind of out here. Your log cabin are around the outside. Your courthouse step are here. And what we're making today forms like a square on the diagonal. So these are the ones we're doing today. We're going to be making 8. I'm going to start with my background fabric. And this time I did make sure that my light is my light and my dark is my dark, so I don't make that mistake. So we're going to be making 8 blocks. So from my light, you need 1 2.5-inch square for each block, which means I need 8. So I'm just gonna, this is just leftover. I might have to pull from that other fabric, we'll see. And with foundation paper, you don't have to be exact, because you're trimming down as you go. So I'm going to cut 8 of these. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put all my fabrics right side up. Oh, and one thing I wanted to tell you is this background is from Fig Tree. It's not from Blueberry Delight. So you can use whatever fabric you want. Okay, then we need 8 1.5 by 3 inch rectangles. So 8 times 8 is 64. So you need 64 of these. So I'm just going to cut, y'all need more fabric. I'm going to cut a 6 inch and a 3 inch. And then from here, 1.5. So that's, and like I said, this doesn't have to be exact, but you know, I think I need a new blade. I think it went to sleep over Christmas and said, make me a new blade. Okay, so let's see how many this is. I think this is half of what I need. I think this is 32, but I'm gonna put all my fabrics right side up. And I will tell you that I do use the Endurance blades. I find that they work, I guess they last a little bit longer. But I have to do this. It's just kind of part of my personality. If I don't, when I get home, I'll make mistakes. So that's 32 if I counted right. I'm going to show you how I changed my blade. And then I'll throw that away. And then I have a new blade. Oh, they want me to make sure I don't have two. No, there's not two, I don't think. We'll know when I cut if there's two. Oh, one thing I did do over Christmas, I got a lot of bobbins wound. So is there something that you guys did over the Christmas break that got y'all caught up? I sewed so much and I got so many bobbins made. It was so fun. Usually, okay, I just put this on like Jordan does. Jordan did this to me one time. I put it on the wrong side. I knew that I would do that if I was on camera. Of course, wrong side. I'm not left-handed. What goes first is? I don't even know. It's, you know, it's funny when you turn a camera on, your mind just goes somewhere else. The size of this ruler is 6.5 by 12.5. And I am using a layer cake. I don't know if that'll work with the 6-inch papers. I think it will. Yeah, actually it will. And then Nora has a great comment. We're gonna write that down as a comment to do a reel out of. How you roll your quilts to display in baskets. Okay, so here I'm gonna cut another 3-inch strip. And I'm just gonna make sure I get all of that selvage off. I need to cut 4 more, so that would be 6, if I'm doing this right. And then I guess I'd love to know from you guys, you know, when you're sewing, do you cut everything all at once? How do you do it? I usually do test blocks, but because it's Soema paper, I know there's not a mistake. So I try to, I don't really have to do a test block. Okay, so there is not a right and wrong side of the blade. Basically, I put it over here. This is for left-handed. So if you're left-handed and you had your blade, you would cut this way. So I have to put it on the left for the right-handed, and I'll show you. So this is right-handed and this is left-handed. So this one we have is left-handed because Denise is left-handed. So this is how you do it if you're left-handed. This is how you do it if you're right-handed. Okay, then I need two 2 3/4 inch squares. So 2 times 8 is 16. So I will cut some, but I'm going to need more. So let's see. And like I said, don't follow this cutting if you're doing real piecing. This is just very haphazard because I'm doing the paper and it doesn't have to be exact. So that would be 4, 8, 12, 16. So I think that's enough. Okay. Over Christmas, I was able to get 3 quilts ready for binding, finish a couple of cross-stitch pieces, make a laptop runner from the Moda Blockhead's first part, and shop for fabrics. Yay! Yeah, I got so much done over the break. This was the first year in a couple of years where we stayed home, which was great, but we hosted Christmas twice, which is great, but also takes a lot of time. So, okay, so now I need to do my dark fabrics. Now this time, I'm just gonna cut one on camera, not all of them, and the reason why is when I cut this one and this one, I wanna make sure that I cut so that it looks straight. So maybe I'll do that just so you can see what it looks like if you cut straight, and then I'll do these later. So I need 8 1.5 by 2 3/4 inch rectangles. So I'm gonna need to do 2 strips to do that. But what I'm gonna do here, because it's a stripe, is I'm gonna put my ruler where it's as close to the stripe as I can get it. So 2 3/4, and I'm gonna need one more cut, but I'll get that in a second. Okay, 1.5, so 6. Five, 6. Okay, I need 2 more. But I don't want to cut a whole thing. So I'm going to do 2 3/4 by 3. So I don't have any waste. And these are going to be the first, oh man, I just cut that one wrong. This one's wrong. I'll cut another one. That's what you get for going fast. And I'll trim this one down. Oh, I think yeah, okay. So that's for the first 2 rounds. And then the last round you need 4 1.5 by 4. So this time I'm going to go this way. I'm going to do 4 inches this way. And again, I'm going to line it up on a line. And then this is probably going to be too little to ever use again. So I'll take that off. And then this is what I'm left with. So then these are the I need to go 6, 4.5, 3, 1.5. Okay. Now the one thing I didn't do is these need to be cut on the diagonal. I forgot that. And I'm going to do this. I would never do this if it wasn't paper piecing. Because it's with paper piecing, you're trimming down, and so you get the accuracy and you kind of get a built-in mistake thing, which is why I love the paper. Okay, so we're gonna do 8. I'm just gonna pull one paper out though. Now this one, on this one, you really have to crease in between because on the back you can't see it. Now to know the front or the back of this fabric, I just know because of the way it's on the bolt. So that's how I know. Or you could look at it real close with the light up close. But when I'm sewing, like I can't even put a rotary blade on right. So you go through all these diagonals, then you have to go through these straight ones. And you'll see that it really helps. And I love that we've added this paper, the pineapple paper, because I would never make pineapple blocks without it. And then you got to do these 4 in this inside. I think I missed those. Okay. So now you can kind of tell what you're going to be doing on the back. So this one is a square. I'm going to put my glue here, and you put your fabric right side up. And I do that to make sure it sticks. So your fabric is on one, your paper's on one side, right side up. Your fabric's on one side, right side up. Now from here, I'm gonna trim a 1/4 inch away. You can either do this now or after, but this is what I do. So 1, and then you definitely do not want your fabric to move. So if your fabric moves at this point, then you kind of becomes a pain in the butt, which is why I usually slap this down so that it doesn't come off. It'll make it stay a little bit. Okay, we're going to use this today, which is Quick Press Seam Roller by Holt. Okay. These are great tips. I cut enough to make 1 block just to see how it looks. That's great, because also, what if you don't like it? So like I said, these are going to be your skinnier ones are going to be your first round. So we're going to start with 2, 3, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put where this is line 2, right side together, line it up, sew on that line. Now what I'm going to do is, you can sew from point to point, but I never do that. I sew a 1/4 inch away, all the way through, and a 1/4 inch past. That's just more secure. Then you're going to add 3 on the other side, and then we're going to use this, and then we'll probably do like a quick press before we come back and keep going. But you could basically do this whole block with this and never have to get up from your table. I can see if I can do that. I might be able to, I might not be able to. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is have an open toe foot so that it doesn't have like a little thing that gets in my way. I'm going to do a 1.2 stitch length. It definitely, whatever your stitch length normally is, you have to go lower. So again, I'm going to line this up, the 1 and the 2 right here. Fold that over and stitch. And you can see here I've gone a 1/4 inch outside of the point. I'm going to turn this over, add 2 more. I'm going to add 1 more between the 1 and the 3. And you want to make sure it covers enough here. Now here, what we can do if we want to not have to get up, you can take your scissors. Can y'all see what I'm doing? You can take your scissors, and since you've already trimmed that 1/4 inch, cut that. And do the same thing here. You want to lift it off, not too far, just enough where you can see that, and you just trim it. And that only works because we already trimmed before. So from here, I'm gonna do this, and it's good. You have to have like a hard surface. So if you do that on here, it's not gonna work as good. And so you can see it's nice and flat. So we did 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do 4 and 5. So for 4 and 5, you just want to make sure that you get it in the center. And the same thing, 5, same thing. Okay. Now here you do have to get up to trim. I am going to just do one little press because I can't help myself. Now when you're working with paper, you're not supposed to use seam. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Okay, so we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we need to trim between 6, 7, 8, and 9. And when I make these blocks, I talk to myself a lot, but you want to pull this up just a little bit, crease it. Thank you to Carol T for the super chat. She says, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. So 6. And I do talk to myself when I do this. My kids know. I do have a kid that talks to himself all the time, and I feel really bad because I'm like, I think he learned that from me. So 6, 7, 8. And this is how you don't have to get up for the second two, but if you didn't trim 8 and 9 now, you would have to. And this one, I started with 5 yards of background. Okay. So then we're going to add 6, 7, 8, and 9. And we're going to move to the white fabric. So our white rectangles. And it is helpful to do the paper in order. So right sides together, and you just make sure you cover the previous, because if you did, you know, too short like that, it would be really bad. So 6, 7, now here, pull this back, trim, and then you press this. And if you follow the lines, you should have perfect points right here. And right here, I'm going to cut a little piece off. So now I'm going to do 8 and 9. And here you want to make sure this is nice and flat, because if it's not, if it's like this and then you sew it, then you're going to have a little pucker or a little hole there. So we'll do 8. 9. Press. And then one little small press. And then we're going to trim between 10, 11, 12, 13. Super chat from Janet Riding. Thank you so much. And thank you to Lene Reese for the super chat. How's Piggy? He is so good, but he is so spoiled. He was bad when my in-laws were here, of course, because my mother-in-law hates dogs. And so, of course, he was bad, and she just, yeah. But he was good otherwise. And he got a lot of toys for Christmas. And he got a little Christmas cookie from, like, one of those bakeries. Will the members-only videos include any live streams this year? Right now, no, but we can do one in the summer or something. Have the winners from the Arthur thread been announced? Ashley will answer in the comments. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go around. Now what I wanted to show you is if we had written this to do on the point, do squares cut on the diagonal, you would have a bias edge here, which would work, but you would have a wasted fabric up here rather than a rectangle. And then we're going to go with the last 4 of the shorter blue strips. Okay, so I'm on 10. $11. Okay, I'm not going to trim yet on this. I don't think I need to trim yet. Okay, so then 12. $13. And with these, you just want to make sure you kind of touch your blues slightly. And at this point, you're not going to have points that match, so it won't be as tedious. Use the iron one more time. And so what I meant by if you don't iron it really flat, it's going to be like that, and you can put your finger in it. Anyway, that drives me crazy. 13, 14, let me see. Now I need to do 14, 15, 16, 17. It's hard to do this one on camera because it's a million pieces. So 14. Now if you did a quilt with this, one thing you could think about is it's going to be a really thick quilt because there's so many seams in this block. So you might want to use a lighter batting. This looks a mess. 15, 16, and 17. And then we're going to add white. And you're going to use the same rectangles. And here you just want to center it. And you can see even on these, I'm going 1/4 inch before and 1/4 inch after. And we do have some new paper in the works, so that's super exciting. Oh, we still have 2 more rows. Oh my gosh. Okay, so 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. Would the Sunburst stitch along look good in Lori's calico fabric? Yes, it would. And I think the C747 would look good. 747 is good. That's her fabric. Okay, so now we're just on the corners. So it's even a little bit easier. And one thing also, like when you start a 1/4 inch out here and then you trim it right here, it's going to catch this extra thread. Well, it's supposed to catch that extra thread so that you don't have any loose threads on the back. I mean, I guess it doesn't always work. Okay, one more. And I'm excited that when we started the papers, we started pretty easy and now we're going to harder and harder, which is good. So now we're going to use those longer blue rectangles. And at this point, you don't really have to go in order. But one thing that I do is I go all the way off the paper. I start, because it's easier to pull the paper off in a little bit. Now, waste a little bit of thread, but I mean. Oh, look what I did. I sewed that in. Oh my word. Okay, I'll show you what to do. First thing we're going to do is press these out. Then I'm going to get a seam ripper. And it's easier to do, I have found with my old eyes, standing up, because sitting down I cannot like see the thing. Okay. So with the paper, you have to be really careful when you start pulling stuff out because your paper is going to go away. Your paper's going to, sorry, your paper's going to go away. Like if you, anyway, we're just going to be really careful. And I'm going to clip every, can you bring me the glue, pretty please? I'm going to show you why you need the glue at this point. I can't believe I made this mistake. Before we do this, we need to glue this down because your paper's going to start coming off. And you got to keep it on there as much as you can. I cannot believe I did that, y'all. Of course I had to do that on camera. And I'm basically clipping every like 2 to 3 stitches because the stitches are so tight, and just preserve the paper a little bit, which hopefully we can make it work. I'm pretty sure I can. Okay, so from here I'm going to kind of do this, and I'm just going to it'll kind of pull up just because you've already pulled those things. Okay, so I'm just going to go to right there where I need to, and I'm going to get all these little things off. Because if you don't get all these little threads off, they're going to be in your seam and they're going to look ugly. And I have that glue down there, so I'm going to pull this. Okay. So I'm going to push this back. Okay, now my glue is there, but I'm going to pull it back. Press right here. Make sure you don't have a bump because you don't want to make, and then you're going to just sew that again and then press it back and glue it because see, your paper might start falling off. Fixed it. Okay, now on the one that I made the mistake on, which is right here, I'm going to add the glue. I don't know where I put it. I put it on the cart, sorry. I'm just going to add the glue because I know from experience I don't want the paper to, if the paper starts moving off, it's got some stability. Do I straighten my material ahead of you as you go? No, I made sure when I did my first cuts, they were straight. And then the papers make everything so much neater. Excited to order some and try them, from Kim Johnson. Yeah, I mean, I think they're a really good price point, but for me, you know, I just love to have accuracy. And there's still some glue right there. And if you ever do that, you'll understand why you need that glue. Okay, now we're going to add those last few pieces, which are those squares that we cut on the diagonal. And you can see, you know, I cut this on the straight, but I mean, it's not 100% perfect. But when you get it in the quilt, it will be good. You could have cut this all on the bias, but that would have just been kind of crazy wild. But what you could do is you could make this one on the straight. And then you could take the one on this one, if you have enough fabric. And you could cut your rectangles on the bias and the blocks would look totally different. So maybe I'll do that and then show you next week. But knowing me, I'll probably forget that by the time I have to do these. And I do try to line up right together, because if you're too short, you know, you don't want to be down here or up here. You want to be as close as you can be. Okay, now here I'm going to set my seam first, because that's bias. I've appliqued, sewed, quilted a small wall hanging, now binding. How wide should I cut the strips? So if it's a really small wall hanging, you could do 2 or 2 1/4. I usually do 2 1/2. Did my kids like the quilts I made them? Yes, they did. I don't know, Emma, I don't think Emma loved hers as much as Christopher did, but she's 16 and I don't know if you've ever raised a 16-year-old, but it's tough. Let me just tell you that. Okay, so what the beauty of this is it looks, you know, you didn't have to worry about the points, and it's all very secure. If you didn't have the paper, it would be wavy, trust me. So these are 4 1/2, so I'm just gonna take a Creative Grids 4 1/2 inch ruler and I put it on the outside. And I just make sure it's about on those outside lines. I'm going to use the seam ripper. Sorry. Okay. So what I like to do to pull the paper is I pull from the outside. And so I'm going to do these 2 outside rings first. That's going to make it easy. And you can see if you didn't trim a 1/4 inch, you'd have all kinds of crazy seams in here. Okay, then I'm gonna go from the outside in. So then you kind of have to do this. And if you have any kind of trouble with the seam ripper, you could do, like you could kind of do this and pull it apart if you didn't want to use your, if your fingernails are short or something. And see, I don't like those loose threads. And if your stitch length is short enough, it should just pull right off. But to me, this is very like therapeutic to pull the paper off. I think I will tell you, all 4 of my kids, they haven't gone back to school yet, and they're so annoyed with me because they're like, I'm not the person today who's going to pull your half square triangle paper. I'm like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. I actually had Emma make like about 50 half square triangles for me for a quilt, and she thinks she can quilt now, and I'm just like, okay, good. You can think that so you can keep quilting. I think she liked it, actually. Okay, now I want to point out, I don't like all these threads. But see right there, you've got a little piece of paper. And that's the one where I did that line twice. And I just want to get all that paper out. And so and then sometimes you'll have like a little piece of paper here and here. You just want to make sure you get all of those out, and then you do an all over press. Now you're going to make 8 of these, and we'll have our next tutorial on this in a month. And then I'm going to clean this off. I'm going to take a drink of tea real quick. And if you guys have any tips for working with pineapple blocks, let us know. I want to show you the Made with Love free quilt pattern. So every year we do a free pattern. Jocelyn designs it every year, and we do something free, and we offer the quilt kit. So this year we use the All My Heart by Janet Wickerfrush Riley Blake fabric. And so here's the fabric, how it looks. And I made mine already. And it does come with the backing, which is awesome. So your pattern is free. If you buy the kit has the fabric for the quilt top, the binding, and the backing, and the pattern, so you don't have to print it. If you're going to use your own fabric, you just go to Fat Quarter Shop, search Made with Love, download the free pattern. It finishes at 17 by 32. So we've got the free pattern and a kit, but if you buy the kit, you don't have to do the free pattern. And just as like an FYI, we also have a free cross-stitch pattern with the same name. Super cute. I'm going to show you the quilt sewn. This is designed by Jocelyn. Kona pieced it, and Joanna Marsh quilted it. And I wanted to tell you that on the back of this, since it's a wall hanging, if you want to hang it with like a rod, we do have a tutorial called Make Your Quilt into a Wall Hanging free blog tutorial for step-by-step directions with photos. And that shows you how to add a quilt sleeve. So I am excited because I've already made mine. It only took me, I think it took an hour. It was so easy. I had Teresa quilt mine, and I can't wait to show you how it looks. So this is Kona's quilt, and then next time I'm going to show you my quilt, and then show you, you know, if you send it to a long armor or if you do it yourself, how it looks. Really easy, and I was able to make mine super quick, and I love it because this is a great one that you could, like on your fireplace, you could just put some candles right here and hang it down, and then it's a horizontal. I do a lot of table runners off of my fireplace because I have so many that I need somewhere for them to go. So this is free, Made with Love, our gift from us to you. For Stronger Together 2024, we are going to honor Ruby Bridges and support the UNCF with our Stronger Together quilt along. So we are featuring blogs from 4 African American designers. We're excited to create a quilt that honors the courage and strength Bridges showed in the years following the monumental case of Brown versus Board of Education. The free pattern is now available online, and we put together, well, the 4 designers who are Jerester Page, Mary Davis, Cherise Nicole, and Vickety Plybon. They put together this bundle of Art Gallery fabrics. That's their favorite manufacturer, and it's 12 fat quarters. And the quilt will finish at 48 inches square. We encourage you to donate $15 to our UNCF campaign to use for the use of this free pattern. We've raised about $700 so far. Our goal is to raise $5,000. And this sew along is going to start in February. And from February now to the end of February, 100% of your donations will help underrepresented students earn a college education. If you visit the Jolly Jabber blog, you can see all the information about the designers and Ruby Bridges, and her story is right here also. And in February, every week, we'll be interviewing one of the designers in our Friday live stream. So what you need to make this is you need 12 fat quarters, 3 yards of a background, 5/8 yard of a binding, and 3 1/4 yards of a backing. And so we do have this bundle, but a lot of you already have 12 fat quarters in your stash. So if you're a member of one of our fat quarter clubs, you already have it. So that is Stronger Together. And this next thing I'm so excited to show you. Okay, so little behind the scenes. Okay, so when stores buy Kona Color of the Year, you buy it sight unseen. So you're just, basically me and Kevin are just guessing. And we are waiting on the edge of our seats, just like all of you are, to watch Robert Kaufman's Instagram and Facebook to find out what the color is. And when I saw the color, I was like, oh my gosh, they made it just for me. So it's called Julep. It's the color of the year for 2024. And so we have yardage, and then they make 10-inch squares, charm packs, and 2.5-inch strips. And it's basically that same color throughout. And I obviously love aqua. So I thought, you know, I need to do something with this year. So what I did is I worked with Jocelyn. I tried to do it myself and I couldn't get it to work. I didn't trust my judgment. So we took the Kona color card. It's got little swatches, and we picked 14 SKUs that went with it. So the Julep is right here. It's the 3rd one. And we are putting together this fat quarter bundle. It's called Mint Inspired Fat Quarter Bundle. It will come in stock in late January or early February. And the reason why is I see the fabric when you see it. So I had to wait for this fabric to ship to get here. And then I had to compare it. And so we did a lot of pulling bolts, just kind of making sure everything looks good together. So we're going to have a fat quarter bundle of this. And I am going to do a sew along with it using some paper, but I can't tell you everything about it. I'm going to wait till it comes in, but I'm excited because it's going to kind of have a modern feel, but yet it's going to just be really soft and pretty. Now, Jocelyn also put together some patterns that we have. The first one, this is Accentuate the Positive downloadable PDF pattern. So using those same fabrics I just showed you in that bundle, this is an Itso Emma paper pattern or PDF pattern that you can buy and turn it into this. We also colored the High Rise downloadable PDF pattern, and I think that pattern comes in several sizes. And that's showing those same fabrics. And then this is the Petit Four quilt along that we just showed you. This one's a free pattern. And then this is star-crossed. So there are 4 quilts to show you what sewing with the Julep color of the year would look like, either with just 2 colors like that or with lots of aquas. And then we put together, I just kind of wanted to show you the last 4 years of the color of the year. So you can see, you know, one year it was yellow. Every year it's different. You never know what it's going to be. Some years they kind of coordinate with, they'll luckily just happen to coordinate with the Pantone of the year. But I love this year's. I want to show you the sale of the month. So for January, and we only show this once a month. Bee Cross Stitch is our fabric of the month for January 2024, and we have used this in a lot of things. And there are plenty of backgrounds and plenty of darker fabrics like this. We've used this pebble in a lot of quilts. So this is on sale 20% of the month off this month. Metler is our thread of the month. And Metler is 100% cotton. It's 30% off for the month of January. We sell it in small spools, bigger spools. We also sell it in sets by color. And then It's So Emma patterns are 30% off for the month. And our books, It's So Emma, are 30% off this month. So we usually do a big January to kick off the year. So great sale this month. And then I'm gonna kind of show you what's new, and there's a lot of what's new. So just to recap, the Cupid box, so cute. We showed it at the beginning. And it matches our little cup. So this is pre-sale, and this is shipping in April. This is shipping in January. Okay, now I don't know if you guys have seen these yet, but I'm so excited to show you. So we wanted to work on some gift bags. We've been working on this for, I would say, at least 6 months. It could be longer. So we worked with the manufacturer to get a really quality bag with a really nice feel to it. It's not, I don't know, it's really good. I would say what we wanted was a Target quality. We wanted something with a really high quality. So the bags come in a set of 4, and they have a really nice base. They have the little thing in the bottom. Like, they have the little thing in the bottom, so you can see that it holds it. And then it just says Fat Quarter Shop at the bottom. But this is a great, I was kind of thinking of, it's a great way to do for retreats. Like if you're going to a retreat, or if you just want to have bags for gifts. And then what you do is you pull these, super cute, and they have a really nice, these are really nice ribbon. It's not cheapy. So these are so cute. So we kind of struggled with color, design, you know, we wanted them to be perfect, so we hope you love them as much as we do. They're called So Cute gift bag sets, and they're only available at Fat Quarter Shop. Okay, the Mercantile collection by Lori Holt came in stock in late December, and this is the Blackberry Jam quilt kit using the Jolly Bars, and it finishes at 64 by 86. It uses 2 different Jolly Bars. It's 64 by 86. Lori designed this, Nancy L. pieced it, and Lisa Holland quilted it. And so we have the Jolly Bars, and we have the quilt kits, and the pattern only comes with the Jolly Bar until it eventually will be in a Jolly Bar book. And then this is the backing, and then I'm going to show you the label she did. So this is a pattern from Lori Holt. I don't know off the top of my head what pattern that is. So they're really cute. And these, I can tell, are the Sweetwater labels. And she did it a little bit. So she did the block, and then what she did is she just cut the, yeah, let's zoom in. She cut the label, and then she top stitched it. You can see the top stitch instead of sewing it in to the seam. Really cute. Also by Lori Holt is Millie's Dresses. And this is so cute. Okay. This is an It's So Emma pattern. Basically, Lori had this pattern years ago, and we republished it with new updated instructions, and the blocks are a slightly different size than the original pattern. This, so there's a pattern that's available as paper or PDF. It finishes at 58 by 70, designed by Lori Holt, pieced by Reese, quilted by Joanna Marsh. And if you watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, on Tuesday, January 16th, we have a video block tutorial, and we're going to have a sew along with this pattern in February. So in that video, I show you how to make this block. I wanted to kind of talk about the block. It's all pieced. So this is a rectangle with corner squares. These are just rectangles. These are just rectangles with corner squares. This is a flying geese, and this is just a rectangle with corner squares. So it actually looks a lot harder than it is. And then your border are just rectangles with corner squares. And what I think is so cute about this quilt is you use the leftover fat quarters and fat eighths from within the quilt to do your scrappy binding. Now, one thing you can think about when you're doing scrappy binding, you can either do scrappy binding with the seams straight or the seams diagonal. But if you're going to do diagonal, you just have to make sure you keep them all the same way. And then I'll show you the back. There's also a block on the back of this one. So this one, she sewed her Sweetwater label in to the border. So super exciting. And like I said, Reese O made this and Joanna Marsh quilted it. I love the quilting. The quilting's really nice. Okay, so those are the two quilts that we have to show you from Mercantile, but then I'm going to show you the fabric. And I can tell you with Millie's dresses, I am going to be doing the sew along, and I've done one block so far. That's all I've gotten done so far. So, but I will be sewing along with you guys. Now, every time that Lori releases a collection, she does some type of sew along that's a free pattern on Riley Blake's site, and it always has some part of applique. So this year, what she did is she did the blocks pieced. You take the 12-inch circle ruler, you put your block right side together with one of her sew-in interfacings. This is the 14-inch pack. You sew along the circle and you flip the block out. She's gonna do a tutorial. Maybe she can do it where we live stream, and she can do it like basically on our live stream, I think is what she's planning to do. And I'm gonna be sewing along with this one. I haven't started yet. I got a lot of starching to do to starch all of this. So super excited. So I'm actually going to be making like 4 or 5 quilts out of Mercantile. I'm also, just as like a heads up, the Riley Blake block challenge begins Monday, January 9th. I don't know if that's Monday, but January 9th, the Riley Blake block challenge starts. I am making it in the Mercantile collection, and I am following Lori Holt's coloring. So you can follow her, you can follow us, and you'll see my block, and we'll post it as soon as Riley Blake releases the first block. There are 3 blocks each month for a couple of months, and they do finish at 10 inches. I do know that. Now this one is 88 inches square, and this sew along starts January 29th. And in here, we did print the Mercantile Sampler Sew Along Guide, but you do need to go to her blog for all of the detail, and subscribe to her YouTube channel, which is called Lori Holt, for all her, she'll give you detail on how to make all the blocks. And this is heavy. It's like 50 pounds. Not really, but kind of. Now, when Lori comes out with new collections and has backgrounds, I put together these 1-yard bundles. So this is B Backgrounds Mercantile 1-yard bundle. And the reason I do that is because sometimes I just need big chunks of her backgrounds. So I do this just so I have them. So this has 4 of her backgrounds from the Mercantile collection. This is a 1-yard bundle that Riley Blake put together, and they called it Raindrop Mercantile 1-yard bundle. So these are all 1-yard cuts. And this is probably what I should have bought because I'm making so many quilts. But anyway, I started with a bunch of layer cakes. This is the Tea Rose 1 yard bundle. This is the Mercantile half yard bundle. And I think I used all of the colors in the sew along, except I don't think she put the browns in there. And then there's also the fat quarter bundle. Probably looks better there. The Roly Poly. Charm Pack. Jolly Bar, and you can see the Jolly Bar pattern is, when you're looking for the Jolly Bar pattern, they're between the fabric and the cardboard. And the 10-inch squares. Now also with Mercantile are the quilt seeds. So these are patterns that Riley Blake publishes for Lori Holt, and each time they're different sizes. They're different each time. They're not mix and match, if that makes sense. So you can't mix and match these with the calico. They're different sizes. So there are 6 patterns. So just so you know, we've been working on cutting all of the quilt kits. All 6 quilt kits will go live next week. The set of patterns will go live next week. Individually, if you want to buy the patterns, you can buy those now. But the kits will be available on our site early next week. Now, Teresa is sewing these blocks because I wanted them, and we're going to get to show those to you either next week or the week after, and you'll get to see how cute they are in person. And there is a setting for this that's available on Riley Blake's site where you put it all into one quilt. But I think what I'm going to do is I think we're going to have all of these just bound individually, and then I'm going to have Lori pick a large vintage trim rickrack to put in each. I'm going to have Lori pick for me the binding on each and the vintage trim in each, and then I'm probably going to have Teresa quilt these with a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch crosshatch. And I'll show you what's inside each of these, just so you can kind of see what it looks like. Now, she designed these so that quilt stores could put quilt kits in here. We don't do it that way just because I don't want them to get messed up, but this is how your pattern will look. And it's a full color pattern, and it goes in here. So I'm super excited about these because I'm gonna hang them up all together. They'd also look great in the setting she has. I just think individually these kind of are just so cute. And one thing I could do is I could just, like for this one, I could just use these fabrics that are on the outside of the pattern as my binding, but I'll probably talk to Lori and have her pick my binding and my vintage trim, and then you can just follow that if that's what you're doing. Lori has a new pattern that is published by Riley Blake called Spring Bouquets, and I wanted to point out that the pattern is available now, but there is a template called the May Day template, and it will be coming out late January, early February, and that will be to make this part. So this is all pieced, and this is the only thing that uses a template. So we have the pattern, but you'll need to wait for the ruler for that part. She always has a new binder, so this is one of her larger binders. It's called the Beekeeper binder. And then she has some new grid paper. So this is all grid paper, and it's kind of in her signature brown style. Like, if you know Lori, she doesn't do black anything. And they're gridded by 8s. So, and that's pretty, you know, that makes it easy to draw a quilt block because, you know, a lot of times you have 2, 4, 6, 8 divisible by 2. She also has 3 new charms: Piggy, Cottage, and Rose. So this is Rose, Piggy, and Cottage. Okay, now I get to show you other stuff. So this is Love Struck, the collection that came out by Layla Boutique for Moda, and we've sold out of a lot of it. So we have the Love Struck Petite Fat Quarter bundles left over. These were as part of the Moda Fat Quarter Club for December. The next collection is the Willow collection by One Canoe 2, and put your questions in there. I'll answer them at the end. This is One Canoe 2 for Moda Fabrics, and we have this as, you know, all of these as yardage, pre-cuts, etc. That one's really pretty. This is that print that's got the big magnolia. I'm kind of displaying it by color. So again, this is Willow by One Canoe 2 and Moda Fabrics. We have an Easter collection by Riley Blake. It's called Bunny Trail by Danny Mogstad. And it has lots of florals, and it doesn't have to be Easter if you don't want it to be. You could take out the Easter prints if you wanted to. And I think it's so cute with the chocolate bunny, because I love a chocolate bunny. And this is a great background. So again, Hop Hop Hooray. No. Bunny Trail, Danny Mogstad. And see, only the Easter eggs has the brown bunny. I love polka dots. And this one's really good because it has a lot of colors. You know, you've got 2 pinks, 2 blues, purple, green, and then you have a touch of yellow. The next collection by Riley Blake is called Hop Hop Hooray by Teresa Goget. And this one is Folk Art Easter, or Folk Art Spring. And this was based on a cross stitch that she did. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. So you can see she hand paints everything. It's so pretty. These are birds in a nest. This is that same print. Oh, that's the first one I showed you. And I will say, I'm not a fan of black, but this black printed really nicely because it's not washed out. It's very, and sometimes, you know, it's not easy to get black correctly when you print. If you ever look at fabric, sometimes it'll read navy or brown, and it looks really good. So that is Hop Hop Hooray by Teresa Goget. And then we have Looney Tunes by Camelot Fabric. So these, Jordan told me this morning, these are, what'd you say, cartoons? I mean, I know Tweety Bird. I can't say much about it. I don't know much about it. Sweet Lullaby by Camelot Fabrics. So this one, is really great for a nursery. And I've noticed a lot of customers requesting more of this brown, green, woodland type for nurseries. So this must be like the trend because we've gotten a lot of requests for this type of color. And the panel's really cute. I'm going to show you the panel. And I think this is really cute. This could be a great, anytime you see a fabric like this, you could just put this fabric, 1 yard together with 1 yard and quilt it, and it looks like you pieced the whole thing, but you didn't. It's cheater, like a cheater. And this would be a cute binding. It's a great background. And then the panel has 4 rectangles. So you could do pillows. Oh, it's 6. You could do pillows. You could take these and just add borders to them. You could do so much with this. Really cute. Dream big, positively adorable. Somebody loves you. So cute. So that's Sweet Lullaby by Ivy Jane Design for Camelot Fabrics. Thank you to Dorothea Cominos and Jeanne Williams for the super chats. This is Mickey and Friends Happy Times Fat Quarter Bundle by Camelot. So these are the little Mickey bases. A lot of Mickey. I don't know if those are bananas or what. Do you know what that is? I don't know if that goes with, I don't know what that is. Little Minnie Mouse. It's really cute. Now, Juicy Juice has a brand new collection for Andover called Deco Glow 2. And this is basically geometric prints and modern colors with kind of like, it's like a slight, it's not metallic, but it's just like a slight bit of color on top of other color. And this would be great for a rainbow quilt, for a Tula pink quilt. This could mix and match with Tula. Deco Glow 2. Now this collection is got Kimberly Jolly's name all over it. It's called Magnolia by Andover. And I just love the color. So it's got, you know, large magnolias, medium magnolias, small magnolias. They might not even, yeah. And then these are like, I think, cotton balls. Great stripe. And then, of course, great polka dots. Polka dots are making a comeback, thankfully. Polka dots kind of went out of style for a little bit. And I'm glad that they're back because I love to use them. And this one doesn't have a designer behind it. It's just an in-house designer. Magnolia by Andover. We have 2 new batiks. This is Petite Pastels Artisan Batiks by Lund Studio for Robert Kaufman. It's the same print throughout on type of a rainbow. So it's a little bit muted. But it's the same print throughout. And this collection we have as fat quarter bundles and as yardage. And we're getting close to the end, so make sure you get your question in so I have time to answer it, or time to see it before I can answer it. So Petite Pastels, and then Bamboo Garden. And this has got yellows, creams, golds, blacks, and reds. Tulip Pink, there are two new Fat Quarter bundles, the Spearmint Tulip Pink Fat Quarter bundle and the Fruity Tulip Pink Fat Quarter bundle. And these are a mix of True Colors, Tiny Beasts, and Daydreamer collections. And so it's just a great like stash builder bundle of Tulip Pink. Cave's brand new collection came out. This is Cave Collective Vintage Fat Quarter Bundle. So lots and lots of big, big prints. It's like a really big print. Wilmington has Winsome Critters, which is a mix of like raccoons and bears. Be kind, as sweet as a fox. This is a running stripe, so you could put that stripe on a border. Wilmington always has a panel, and they always have a running stripe, and they always have a regular stripe. And they always have like an all over. The companies have, you know, little formulas they use, and they get known for that. Arrows, more foxes, owls. And then this panel has two squares at the top, a rectangle, and two more squares. And these, you know, you could cut these up, make pillows. This would make a really cute rectangular pillow. Winsome Critter by Wilmington. Island Boutiques, this is Winged Things by Kate Colleran. And this is purples, oranges, and mango, kind of a mango color. Butterflies. And then Heather Ross has a new collection for Wyndham Fabrics called Forest Burr. I might be saying that wrong. Do you think I'm saying that wrong, Jordan? Forest Burr? Forestburg. I don't know. And it is selling pretty good. This is going to be in our newsletter. And anytime I see a stripe like this, that's this wide, this would be, you know, if you put it on a binding, you would just make sure you kind of line these up, but it would also look great on the bias on a binding. For new patterns, Coriander Quilts has a lot of new patterns. Now for her Christmas collection, we have sold out of a couple of the paper patterns. They will be back in stock on Monday or Tuesday, but we do have PDFs of all of them. These are for her Starberry Christmas collection. And then this is her collection that's coming out later in the year. Both of these are later in the year with, I think, Favorite Things. Coriander collection. Coriander Colors is the name of the collection, sorry. And we have all of these as paper and PDF. These are be back in stock next week. And then Stacy Itsu. baby building blocks, baby sheet parade, little snail, and then baby all wrapped up. Now this pattern has been re-released, and I've seen a lot of people have made this really cute. Okay, so now I'm going to answer questions. Am I going to update us on your temperature quilt? Yes. So your temperature quilt for 2023 is finished, and we will show that the 26th. We will also show the progress of 2024. That one I'm going to work on once a month, but I have all of the roofs done and all of the other stuff. So that one's the 29th or 26th? 26th. Elizabeth says, if you're looking to get a few creative rulers, what would you get? Okay. Okay, so the first two that I think you have to have, 6.5 by 18.5. Is that right? No, 6.5 by 12.5, and 6.5 by 18.5. That's what I use a lot. Now after that, I use these, the square ones. So the 2.5 through the 6.5 and the 1.5. So 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 1.5. I could make any quilt with just these. That's kind of like what I have to have. Have you lined up my 2024 quilts? Yes, we did a live stream on it in October, November, and I will be showing progress. I have already, I've already done a lot of quilts for the whole year because I just really kind of went crazy in December and got a lot done. But I can't show it to you until that month. Is the star-crossed pattern It's So Emma? Yes, it is. And it's, I think on the cover, I think it originally was red and white. Okay, this is a great question. What kind of backing would go with the color of the year? What I'm doing, I'll tell you more January 26th, but on my backing, I'm putting the color of the year on the backing. And then I'm putting a darker color on the binding. So I wouldn't put a print with it. I'm just going to keep it solids. I know you grab layer cakes for your stash. When you buy a stash layer cake, how many do you pick up from a collection? Usually only one. Will I be doing the Moda Chatsworth? No. Donna R. Regarding the Sew Sampler box patterns, what's the decision process by FQS in choice of finishing fabrics? Just curious. So we buy whatever amount we know we can sell and whatever we can get from the manufacturer, and that's how we pick what we do for finishing. Sometimes we have some left over, sometimes we don't. How big do the quilt seed blocks finish? 29 by 25. Hi, Christopher. Maria Elena Blecka, do you carry the Atomic Starburst pattern by Violet Craft? We're sold out, but we can order more today. When will the inserts for the quilt binder come back in stock for Lori Holt? Those have been out of stock for a while. I don't know when they have it. Whenever Riley Blake gets them, we'll have them. When will the charity quilt-along fabric requirements be made available? They will be made available when we hit $20,000 in donations. Our donations have been down for a couple years, and we're just really trying to keep it going. So we're trying to come up with creative ways. So that's when that will come out. Now we're going to give away 3 of these. You're not going to get it until April because this is the only one we have. So 3 of you will basically get signed up to get a free one. You have until Thursday, January 11th to enter. Winners will be announced and picked on January 12th. What I want you to do is comment and let me know what is the very first project you're going to work on for 2024, and then what are you most excited about from the quilting industry in 2024, so I can make sure that we know what you guys are loving lately. And make sure you join me next Friday where we do the paper hearts tutorial, and I will see you then.